Namaste, everybody, and thank you once again for joining me for another episode of Your Pleasure Incorporated into Daily Living. I am your sister under the skin, Ellen Nicholas Rathbone, sensuality consultant, life coach, sex educator, author, and entrepreneur. My passion is to talk about the body and all of its wonder and properties and joys and abilities. And I truly believe that the human body is a miraculous entity. And it's miraculous because it rebuilds itself over and over and over again. So, since it does that, what you feed it is what it has to build you up with. And that's why it's really, really, really important to understand what kind of stuff you're putting in your mouth and realize what is real food and what is advertisers' idea of filling you. Because just because it fills you doesn't mean that it's food in the sense that it gives you the nutrition that you need to grow and to rebuild yourself. If you don't think you rebuild yourself, think about it. Did you have that same body when you were an infant, when you were 7, 15, 21? No, your body changes every 7 years. You're constantly rebuilding. And I got to tell you, it's so important to remember that your body has muscle memory and it has the ability to either slow up the aging process or to speed it up or to stop it and to even reverse it. People don't realize that because that's not what they're told by mainstream medical establishments. They're told that if you get sick, they're going to give you a pill or they're going to give you a surgery and it's going to make you much better, but it's not, and you know it. So the bottom line is that the human body rebuilds itself all the time. And since it is your temple, it is your home. It is, and when I say your home, I mean the spirit inside of you. All right. When I say namaste, I am saying that the spirit in me recognizes the spirit in you. Whether I know your personality or where you come from or your language, it doesn't matter. We are all made up of the same energy. And we have individualized ourselves in a body to experience something. And how you make your way through this life and how well you get to actualize your life depends on the ability that your body has. The greater the ability, the more chances are that you can get things accomplished. If you are, say, broken legs, you're not going to be expected to climb Mount Everest. Okay. So everybody is at a different level of fitness, and knowing that we rebuild ourselves all the time, there are certain ingredients that are absolutely necessary to rebuild yourself in a strong and healthy way. So the first thing, of course, is nutrition. And as I just mentioned, just because it's sold on television doesn't mean that it's food. And if you convince yourself that this is food, that this junk, this fried food, these fake burgers, these bleached buns, all this stuff is food, then you're hurting yourself. And there's no doubt about it. You can say, no, I don't think I'm hurting myself. But, it's like building a house with sand, and it's not going to last. And it definitely takes its toll after a while. So if you want to give yourself the best chance to rebuild yourself from your youth all the way through your life, you have to really be careful what kind of toxins you put into it. And if you're going to put toxins into it, if you're going to put crap into it, recognize the crap and balance it out with good stuff. Because if you only do crap, if you only eat junk food, if you only eat processed food, it will catch up to you. You are asking for dis-ease because the body cannot keep building up itself if you give it nothing to build with. So that's number one. A second thing for maintaining that temple is to recognize that the human animal has not changed in its structure for over 2,000 years. I mean, at least 2,000 years, if not more. But we can go back 2,000 years. 2,000 years ago, they did not have supermarkets, okay? I don't even think they had a place where there was food you could go to. They didn't even have agriculture. So they had to hunt, and they had to pull roots and grubs out of the earth, and they had to climb trees, and they had to use their bodies to look for food to live. Okay? They couldn't just call, Uber or whatever these places are and say, listen, just deliver me some fried chicken. No. If they wanted to live, they had to move and they had to use their bodies. Well, that body has not changed. It has cycled through many, many eons, but it's pretty much the same thing. We have a little bit more consciousness. We recognize a lot of things around us. We put ideas to things, but the bottom line is the body is pretty much the same. So all that activity that it was getting way back in the day is not getting that now. And so what happens is, well, it's okay when you're in your 20s, not so bad. You hit your pinnacle of your fitness level. For women, I think it's 27, and for men, it's 26. And you could really build up. And by the time you get to that age, your body could be at its absolute best. But if you haven't started taking care of it as a routine up until that age, it starts to go, it levels off for a little while, and then it starts to go down, down, down. And it's imperceptible. You don't see it right away, but you're not quite as strong. You can't climb flight of steps without losing your breath. God forbid you had to run a mile to get help. Let's hope you wouldn't have a heart attack when you got there. The body will bring itself to the level of acute stresses that you put on it regularly to be what you need it to be. But if you never put any acute stresses on it, if you never have to run, if you never have to lift anything heavy, then the muscles say, oh, well, I guess we're not needed. It's okay. And, the lung capacity starts to go down. It's like 15% per decade. And the muscles start to shrink, and they're replaced by fat because your metabolism is not that fast anymore. Muscle is more of a metabolic fat burner than fat is. Fat is not going to burn very much fat at all. So that's how we get bigger as we get older. But if you want to remember that, as I said before, the human animal is the only species on the planet that can not only slow up the aging process, they can stop it and they can reverse it. And so if you have not started taking care of your temple as of yet, take heart, because you can. It might not happen overnight. In fact, it will not happen overnight. It took however many years to get you in the shape that you are in now. But if you want to make a choice, a mindful choice to love yourself, to take care of yourself, and not to believe all these people that would have you believe that you cannot, and you need a surgery to fix you. Their surgeries are never going to fix you. They're going to leave you with a whole new set of problems. And so right now you have natural problems and bad habits, and you're not taking care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself after you have the surgery, it's not going to get better. The ideal happens when you love yourself enough to recognize that you need to take care of yourself on a daily basis. And that includes, as I mentioned, right nutrients. And if you need to do supplements and vitamins to get what you need in because of the depleted soil, please do, okay? But you have to watch what you're eating, because in this poisonous world, there's a lot of junk out there. And if you don't give a shit about what you stick in your mouth, they definitely will take you for a very long ride. And then the second thing is acute stresses on a daily basis. I think weight training is super important because you don't want to lose your muscle mass. I think like 2 to 3 times a week for weight training, depending on your body type, but something cardio every day, like a brisk walk or a bike ride, but something, maybe a jog once in a while. I mean, it's not like you're trying to beat yourself up. You're just testing your mettle every day to give yourself the ability to be able to do that thing, like touching your toes or squatting and being able to get up. If you never do it, then you're going to lose the ability to do it. So you do it just to test your mettle, not because you have to hunt for the boar and bring it home, carry it on your back, and use your muscles to survive, but you have to use your muscles for quality of life. And if you don't use them, they will atrophy. And when they atrophy, it is difficult to put it back, especially for women who do not have very much testosterone. And these days, it's even difficult for men because there's so much estrogen in the water. It is cutting back on men's testosterone levels. So why lose it in the first place? You've got a decent amount, and by focusing on taking care of that temple that is your body, it will serve you throughout your life and into your senior years. There's another thing that I think is really important, and that's proper sleep. I know people want to, stay up late and watch movies and the late night shows and that sort of thing. Record them. The body repairs itself from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's the sleep cycle where it actually rebuilds itself. And if you are awake, not only are you not rebuilding yourself, but you're probably going to be hungry and you're probably going to want to eat something. And then you're going to take that to bed with you and it's going to sit in your stomach and it's going to turn into fat. So you're really it's like a real bad cycle, of real bad feedback loop of I do this and because of that I do this and then I go do this again and I do that. And you don't want to, you want to get into the habit of finding the circadian rhythms, of going to bed at an hour where your body's going to repair itself. If once in a while you don't, it's okay. But there's nothing on television worth your health. Nothing. And they are there to entice you away from everything that you need to do to take care of yourself. And sleep is one of the most important things. So you want to have that time to rebuild the body. And when you're sleeping between 10 and 2, that's when that happens. So one more thing. We're so hunched over in this world. We're hunched over our car wheel, we're hunched over our desk, our laptop, we're hunched over at the dinner table, we're hunched over pretty much all day. And between the gravity pushing us down all the time and us hunching over, this actually is what adds to how older people, they kind of going down. It's like their head is always down. And that's not a healthy way to walk. Our head should be straight up. I know it's going to be hard because you're not used to it. But if you can remember, every night for like 10 minutes or so, just lie on the floor. You can have a rug under you, but lie on the floor with your arms straight out or up like this so that everything is resting, your head straight on the floor. And you'll feel this wonderful expanse through your chest and through your arms, and through your head and back. It's so awesome. And if you do that often enough, you will help yourself to stand up straighter and taking care of your temple because you don't want your temple tipping over. I hope you have found this talk interesting and helpful. And please let your friends know about this station, Ellen Nicholas YPI. I talk about things that have to do with pleasure and with your being the best physical representation of your spirit and your mind and your body by taking good care of yourself and having no shame in your game doing it. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like me if you like this, and let your friends know, because word of mouth is the best way to go. Thank you so much for joining me. See you again next week. In the meantime, don't forget to do your Kegels at least 5 minutes every day. Don't forget to meditate, drink lots of water, and take time to love yourself. Thanks for joining me. See you next week.